We're learning more about a contaminated creek just outside of Napoleon. Something there has turned the water a bright red color. Now, we spoke with people who were concerned and calling for transparency. And now we're learning the issue stems from a single home near Houston Creek. It was first reported on Friday. Since then, workers have been at the creek trying to mitigate the issue, shutting down the roadways and bringing in equipment to try to monitor the situation. But some people who live nearby say they were taken by surprise.
We had no notice. The first thing we knew on July 4th, some visitors were coming over, and they said, "Why is your road closed?"
We had no idea.
We had no idea.
If there's contamination in our area, we should be notified.
We would like some transparency. Yeah.
Today, 13 Action News spoke with Henry County's emergency management director, who said a mass notification was not sent out because of guidance from the Ohio EPA. He says the substance was contained to a certain point of the river that doesn't have public access. However, the city of Napoleon and Campbell's Soup were notified as a precaution. Now, as for the testing, it showed levels of ammonia, and the substance was moving away from the source downstream. 2 dams were constructed to prevent any impact to the Maumee River. Right now, the Maumee has not been impacted by the issue. We're also told the Ohio EPA sent a notice of violation to the suspected person who is responsible for the spill. Now, the EPA crews and cleanup contractors are now in control of that situation.